online art students. I'm Mr. Marchenko and I'm your online art teacher. I'm excited to help you explore your critical and creative thinking skills and to see some of the beautiful artwork that you're going to create. I just wanted to make this little video and share it with you to go over a few things about the course. Some of you have maybe been a student of mine before in an online art course, maybe even in an in-person art course, and some of you might be new to online learning in general. Online art has some challenges because I'm not with you. I don't get to actually see you create your art. There's a lot of learning that takes place in the art making process, which always involves problem solving and making decisions and reflecting. And I like to be a part of that with my students here at school because, like I said, I can really ensure that a lot of growth and development takes place for students in that stage. So I've just mentioned this because I really want to encourage you to reach out to me while you're in the middle of a project. Send me photos and I'll give you feedback. So send me photos of your work in progress and I'll give you feedback before you submit your final product. So it's basically it's a product-based course, studio-based course, just like if you would be in school in person with me. I'll have you do some writing and some reflecting through artist responses. I might have you do some assignments that are kind of like a reading and comprehension type assignment or like an analysis of art assignment. You might be doing some research about artists throughout art history or even contemporary artists. Kind of depends on the course that you're in the program of studies. But primarily you'll be making art. When you go into Schoology, you are going to want to check out the supply list. So I'm just going to switch to my desktop here so you can see. And here I am in Schoology. Now, as long as you're logged into your Red Deer Catholic Google account, you'll have the Red Deer Catholic bookmarks folder in your bookmarks on your bookmarks bar here on the left side of my screen. You can see it there. And in that folder will be a shortcut to Schoology. And when you go to Schoology, you'll see all the courses that you're enrolled in, even the in-person courses, not just the online courses. And so you'll find yours by name. And I like to add a custom graphic to the courses, as you can see here, it helps me stay organized, but I think it helps students too to find your courses quickly. Okay, but the key is that you have to be logged into your Red Deer Catholic Google account to access Schoology because it's like a closed system within our Google enterprise. When you go into your course, you'll see many folders in the center section, and because I like to organize the course by like units, and usually we do about 3 or 4 units in a course. It's a 5-credit course, but I think you'll find that we move along at a comfortable pace. That is one of the challenges, though, is keeping up with course material. So I do encourage you to spend at least an hour a day from Monday to Friday on this art course, because if you were with me in school here, you would have art for over an hour every day because it's a 5-credit course. So having success with this course means managing your time and keeping up with the workload. Check out the course information folder, and in there you'll find information on the course itself, some details, and even a link to the Alberta Ed Program of Studies if that's something that you want to check out. But I think most important at this point maybe is the supplies and materials information. So that gives you an overview of some of the supplies you're going to need. You don't necessarily need to go out and get all those supplies right now. You might want to wait until you're into a unit, and then you'll get a sense of like what kind of materials you'll need for a particular project. And at the bottom of this list, I have some notes about where you can find them locally, like at Michael's, Walmart, Dollarama. We do have an art store here in Red Deer, Alberta Art and Drafting. There's a good one in Edmonton, Delta Art and Drafting. Calgary has many great ones. I don't have any listed here. But if you're in Calgary, you can check that out. And then of course Amazon. Like we all love shopping on Amazon, and they have great art supplies that you can get like the next day or just in a few days. Just a note about paper. So in school here, we use many different kinds of paper. This is a large sheet of what's called academia, and then I would cut it down to something a little bit smaller, and students would typically tape their paper to an artboard. Here's a 24 by 24 inch piece of hardboard that I got at like Home Depot. And this is a great surface to tape your art projects to so that they stay nice and flat. And sometimes you'll be using wet media like paint, and if the paper gets wet, then it'll buckle. But if it's taped down, it'll stay in place, and then when it dries, it'll shrink and actually stretch out nice and tight again. So it might be nice to invest in a board like that. Otherwise, I mean, you could just get large sheets of paper, even poster board from Dollarama, or if you want to invest in some good paper, you could try Michaels or Alberta Art and Drafting, and then you could cut it down to smaller sizes, so it's a little bit more manageable to work with at home. If you want to just do all your projects in a sketchbook, I mean, you could get away with that too, but buy yourself a good quality sketchbook that has, nice thick, good quality sketchbook paper. If you're going to do watercolor projects with me, then you're going to want to get watercolor paper, and you can do that by like going to Alberta Art and Drafting, or I'm getting like single sheets, or you can even buy watercolor paper pads at a place like Michael's. Okay. So anyway, like reach out to me through email if you have questions or concerns about the materials that you're going to need, especially once you get into a project and you start learning about the specific, materials that you'll require for the project. Now, I'm going to go back to kind of the main landing page of this course. I just want to show you what a typical lesson might look like. So like here we are inside a folder, and you can see that most of these posts are assignments, and we know that because of this particular icon that's used to describe the assignment visually. Look at how that one's different though, the one that's beside drawing intro part 1. It's different than the shape lesson icon. And that's because the shape lesson is a lesson that's built into a Google slide file, as you can see here, and you can put it on full screen and go through it like that. So it's things to read and look at, information to read and look at, but not necessarily like there's no assignment attached to this. There's no like action item kind of thing, but you still need to look at that lesson because you need that background information in order to have success with the assignment that follows. But if we look at sometimes what I do is I actually put a lesson within the assignment itself. So like here's another example. This is an assignment, actually says it's part 2 of an assignment. But I just want to show you that it's the same kind of ideas. I use Google Slides to build these lessons or instructions. Like sometimes it's not really a lesson, it's more like an instruction for a project, a studio project. And sometimes that involves videos because, again, you're not with me. So if I need to demonstrate something, what I do is I demonstrate it under like a video camera, video myself demonstrating it, and then I make a video and then I post it. Or sometimes it's just like could be like a little mini lesson that I've created and videoed and then made available to you within this set of instructions for this project. Okay, and so you'll get used to this. This is how all of either the instructions or the lesson content will be delivered to you. And there's always examples in these instructions or lessons. So I think you'll find that it's very thorough and there's lots of information. Okay, but make sure you're following them closely and make sure that you are completing assignments based on the assignment criteria, because look at what's underneath the instructions within this particular assignment, the rubric. Okay, so every piece of art that you turn into me, and even the written assignments, will be assessed with a rubric. So I'm looking for specific criteria. And so if you don't read through the assignment instructions thoroughly, you might miss some of those required criteria and therefore score really poorly on the assignment. You could end up failing an assignment or even the course. So read these instructions thoroughly, examine the lessons thoroughly so that you can have as much success as possible with the assignment. So I'm excited to see your artwork. Speaking of that, you won't be sending me the artwork like physically, so you'll need a good camera, and you have one on your phone, right? But make sure you take a good photo of your work. Like, get nice and close to it. You don't need to have like a lot of the environment in the peripheral. So like, get close, zoom in, make sure it's well lit, and because keep in mind that I'm assessing your artwork just by that photo, and so the better quality the photo is, the better it is for you. That's to your advantage. So take good photos, and you're going to submit them right in Schoology in the submissions, using the submissions box. And if you need help with that, like, you can just get in touch with me, and I'll show you how to do that. Maybe I'll make another video and send it out if I find that a lot of students are struggling with that, but I think you'll figure it out. And I do have due dates. Try to stick to them, because as you know, that at both high schools, we've moved to a procedure where students who hand in assignments late could potentially earn zeros that become permanent. Okay, so I don't mind giving a little bit of wiggle room with due dates, because I know that with artwork, sometimes it's some students finish quicker than others. Like, there's a lot of variables, right? Depends on your working pace, and you're busy with other things in your life. I get it. Maybe you have a problem acquiring materials. Okay, but the due dates, I think, are fair, and I've like spaced out the projects, or I will space out the projects in such a way that you have time to complete them. So try to stick to those due dates so that you don't fall too far behind. I'll post things in advance so that you could, work ahead. But I also like to try new projects. So, it's not like I'm going to post the whole course now, because I'm not sure. That I don't know that you'll do the same projects that the students did, that took this course last. So I like to always make improvements or try new projects with students. Okay, but I'll always make sure that for those of you that are working on par, you can keep busy and keep up with the course. Okay, you can reach me by email, and I look forward to seeing your beautiful artwork. Take care.